Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Abhirami and I am here to discuss with you about today's topic, that is the classification of bone. So first I'll give an introduction to bone. Bone is made up of 1/3 of connective tissue and 2/3 of calcium salts, and the calcium salts can be organic or inorganic. Inorganic calcium salts are usually from calcium hydroxyapatite. So the formula for that is Ca10PO46OH twice. And when the bone is put in the acid, then it becomes flexible and it can be tied into a knot. But when the bone is burnt, the organic substance comes out as ash. Even though the bone looks like it is not living, it is actually a living tissue. And some of the characteristics of bone is that it has a higher regenerative power than any other tissue in the body except the blood, and the bone has a constant calcium turnover, and it has a characteristic pattern of growth. And also bone changes its shapes according to the stress it receives. And so that is about the introduction of the bone. Now let's talk about the classification. Bone is classified on the basis of the shape and the development, and then the region which the region in which it is present, and then the structure. So according to shape, bone can be classified as long bone, short bone, and flat bone, irregular bone, pneumatic bone, sesamoid bone, and the accessory bones. According to development, it is classified as the membranous bone, cartilaginous bone, and then membranocartilaginous bone, somatic bone, and visceral bone. Based on the region, it is classified into axial and appendicular. The bones present on the axial line, like vertebral column and sternum, ribs, they all constitute the axial bones. And then appendicular bones are those bones which constitute the limbs. So appendicular bones include the pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, and all the limbs. Okay, and based on the structure, the bone is classified into macroscopic and microscopic. So macroscopically, it is compact and cancellous bone. Microscopically, it is divided again into 5 types of bone. So let's start off with the long bone. So the name itself says that the long bone is long, and the long bone has a diaphysis, and diaphysis means the shaft. It also has 2 epiphyses. Epiphysis is the end of the bone. So the diaphysis is the shaft, and the epiphysis is the end of the bone. And the epiphysis actually is having epiphysis is actually a smooth and articular part of the bone, and epiphysis is expanded. And diaphysis has 3 borders, 3 surfaces, and also a medullary cavity and a nutrient foramen. So this nutrient foramen always grows in the direction away from the growing end of the bone. Okay, and the long bone is further divided into 3 types, that is the long bones, short long bones, and modified long bones. So long bones are the ones that have 2 secondary epiphyses. Examples for the typical long bones include radius, ulna, humerus, femur, tibia, fibula, and all that. And then the examples for miniature long bone or short long bone is the metacarpals, metatarsals, and phalanges. So actually the miniature long bones have only 1 secondary epiphysis, and they are a little short. And then modified long bones. So modified long bones do not have any medullary cavity. So example for that is the clavicle. The clavicle does not have a medullary cavity. Okay, so the next thing under shape is the short bone. Short bone is usually a short, so the name itself says again that it's short, and the short bone will either be cuboid, cubical, or it will be scaphoid. Scaphoid means boat shaped. Okay, and examples for the short bones are tarsals and carpals, and short bones are usually pierced by the blood vessels. The next comes the flat bones. Flat bones are usually shallow, and they are actually flat, and they constitute the cavities in the body. And example for that is the cranial vault. Cranial vault encloses the brain, and also the thoracic cage, which encloses various organs like lungs, heart, etc. And the next one is the irregular bone. So irregular bone, again as the name itself says, it has an irregular shape, and example is the bones at the base of the skull, like the first cervical vertebrae, second cervical vertebrae, and sphenoid. And then comes the pneumatic bones. So pneumatic bones are actually irregular bones. Okay, and pneumatic bones are lined by the epithelium, and also they have air spaces. So pneumatic bones example is sphenoid, ethmoid, and maxilla. And then comes the sesamoid bones. Sesamoid bones are actually tiny bony nodules, and these bony nodules are embedded in the joint or on the tendon of the joints. And the sesamoid bones do not have any periosteum, medullary cavity, or Haversian system. So the pneumatic bones also ossify right after birth. And the examples for pneumatic and actually the pneumatic bones can be articular or non-articular. So if they are articular and they come to lie with another bone, then it is covered by a hyaline cartilage. And also there is a synovial bursa for lubrication. A bursa is actually a fluid filled sac. The examples, so what are the examples for sesamoid bone? The most common example is the patella or the knee bone. The knee bone is actually a sesamoid bone, and it appears in the tendon of the quadriceps femoris muscle. And then the next example is the tendon of the flexor carpi ulnaris. And also one of the most famous example is the rider's bone. So rider's bone appears in the professional riders, and in them the tendon of the adductor longus develops a sesamoid bone. And then comes the accessory bone. Okay, so accessory bones are also called as supernumerary bones. Okay, and accessory bones actually they are not always present because they originate from an extra secondary center, and they form epiphyses by themselves, and that's how an accessory bone develops. So accessory bones examples are the base of the first metacarpal and the upper end of the other metacarpals. Okay, head of the other metacarpals, that is. And then let's move on to the next type. So development, by the development of the bone, we can classify them into 5 types: membranous bones, cartilaginous bones, membranocartilaginous bones, somatic bone, and visceral bone. So what is a membranous bone? Membranous bone is a bone that has been developed from that has developed in the membrane. Okay, so the examples for this is the some bones of the cranial valve, like frontal and parietal, and also maxilla. These sort of bones undergo intramembranous ossification. It is also called as mesenchymal condensation. So all the tissues that were in the bone, in the place of the bone, they start ossification by themselves. Osteoblasts are formed, and these osteoblasts start producing more cells, and lacunae are formed, and that's how the bone develops in the membranous bone. And then next comes the cartilaginous bone. In a cartilaginous bone, the bone replaces the existing cartilaginous model. Okay, so the bone actually replaces the cartilaginous model, and this sort of ossification is called as a endochondral ossification. So this ossification occurs in the cartilage. And the example for the cartilaginous bones include humerus and femur. So humerus and femur are also example of the long bone, typical long bone. Okay, and then next comes the membranocartilaginous bone. In a membranocartilaginous bone, the bone ossifies partly in membrane and partly in cartilage. Okay, so it has both mesenchymal condensation and endochondral ossification. Okay, so example for that is clavicle. So the famous example for that is the clavicle. And also the other example for membranocartilaginous bone is a sphenoid. Okay, and the next one is somatic bone. The somatic bones are almost present everywhere in the body. The next one is the visceral bone. Visceral bone develops from the pharyngeal arcs, and examples for visceral bone is the mandible, a part of the mandible, and the ear ossicles. The ear ossicles are stapes, malleus, and incus. Okay, and then as I already told you, axial bones are present in the axial skeleton. So axial bones include the vertebral column and the thoracic cage. And the appendicular bone includes the pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, humerus, femur, radius, ulna, tibia, fibula, and all that. Okay, and then next comes the structural classification. So under structural classification of bone, it can be classified as macroscopically and microscopically. So macroscopically, the bone is of 2 types: the compact bone and the cancellous bone. The compact bone is actually dense in texture, and it is ivory-like, but it has a lot of pores. And the compact bone develops in the cortex of the bone, and also the compact bone is usually present in the shaft, and also it can handle all the compressive forces, shear forces, and tension forces, and it adjusts itself to those forces. Okay, and then comes the cancellous bone. The cancellous bone is also called as spongy bone or trabecular bone, and the cancellous bone does not have a Haversian canal system, and cancellous bone has numerous trabeculae arranged in it, and between these trabeculae are marrow containing spaces. The bone marrow is present between these trabeculae. and these trabeculae can be arranged in 3 primary types. So trabeculae are actually rods and plates, and they can be arranged in 3 primary types: a meshwork of rods, a meshwork of plates, and a meshwork of rods and plates. And usually cancellous bone can withstand the compressive pressure. So, and then next comes the Wolff's law, and the Wolff's law states that the growth of the bone is directly proportional to the stress and the strain. Okay, and in a cancellous bone, the pressure lamellae are present parallel to the line of the weight transmission. Okay, so the pressure lamellae is present parallel to the line of weight transmission, and the tension lamellae is present perpendicular to the line of weight transmission. So next comes the microscopical structural bones. So these are the lamellar bone, woven bone, and fibrous bone, dentine and cement. So dentine and cement are present in the teeth, and lamellar bone. Okay, so in all bones, be it a cancellous bone or a compact bone, they all have lamellae. In a cancellous bone, the lamellae is actually curved and branched, but in a spongy bone, it is present in concentric circles like a Haversian canal system. And the next one is the woven bone. So in the woven bone, you can see the bone crystals and tissues like that, and it is usually a fractured bone or a cancer bone or a young fetal bone. And then comes the fibrous bone. So fibrous bone is present in young fetus. It is mainly present in amphibians and reptiles. And then comes the dentine and cement, which are present in the teeth. Okay, so that is all about the classifications of bones. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening to me, and if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe and comment on it. Thank you.